Guys, congratulations. You are now proud winners of BAFTAs. I mean, again, quite a bittersweet thing to win an award for, because, you know, the subject matter that you were dealing with isn't pretty. So, I mean, how difficult was it to kind of go covertly when you were reporting on G4S?
One for Callum.
Yeah, I mean, it was really difficult. There's so many different challenges that you have to overcome, you know, wearing secret cameras, smuggling secret cameras into a centre, finding, filming and reporting on abuse and other systematic failures. You know, that isn't easy, and it takes a lot of time and practice to be able to do that well.
And how much of a responsibility did you feel you had to kind of tell these people's stories?
I felt a huge responsibility, because you're the only person in there who has the opportunity to expose what's happening. So if you fail and you aren't able to expose what's going on, then you failed a lot of people. You know, that everyone's counting on you really to give them a voice, and it's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
And what many people may not know, Cars, that if they haven't seen the film yet, which of course I encourage them to, is that Callum was first a whistleblower. So for 14 months, he was actually working in there, not for the BBC, but someone genuinely doing a job, before having the bravery to put on secret cameras himself. An extraordinary act that I'm not aware of precedented in current affairs previously. We all owe him a huge debt as first a whistleblower, a real person doing a job of regard, but then having the bravery to then put secret cameras on top of that, to reveal a hidden world and some of the most voiceless people in our society. We're all so proud of him, and your decision to reach out to us in the first place was extraordinary.
Yeah, I think it's really important to hear why Callum contacted us at Panorama, because it's really important that people know this. So, Callum?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually sitting at home a year into the job, writing up my resignation letter, because I couldn't cope with the sort of stuff I was seeing in Brookhouse. And I was sat in my living room writing up my notice when this episode of Panorama began to play, and it was another undercover film about people being abused in Medway Secure Training Centre. And I was so shocked and appalled by what I saw that I felt compelled to do something, because it reminded me of the sort of behaviour I'd seen in my place of work. So I deleted my notice, and I wrote to BBC Panorama about the sort of things I was saying. I was put in touch with Joe, and I worked with Joe for the next 14 months before they sent me in wearing secret cameras.
Incredibly brave. I mean, I think they always say that, you know, if you stand in your truth, nobody can use it against you. And I think you absolutely did that with doing that at your workplace. A very, very risky thing to do as well.
Yeah, it was obviously a risk, but it's difficult, because you know that you're the only person really in that position who can really make a change, and so to leave and to pass up the opportunity to actually go in there undercover would mean that no film would have been made, right? And so I just felt compelled.
Yeah,
normally
Exactly.
Normally over 20 years where I've worked with undercover reporters, they're frightened of being discovered or exposed. Because Callum had lived a life, he'd come home to me at night saying, I can't fail, I can't not record this, people have to know what I've seen. It was a very difficult story to tell, though, wasn't it, Gary?
I mean, the undercover films are, by their nature, quite difficult. I mean, there's just hundreds and hundreds of hours of rushes, and you're trying to find, you know, specific things in amongst those to tell stories. And this was particularly difficult because, you know, we tried to take the stories outside of the environment and actually find the people, you know, find people that have been inside, trace them back, people that have been deported back to, you know, their country of origin. And, you know, the coming together of these things, I think, was a very powerful, you know, exposition of what was happening in this place, because the trick really with foreign programs is that, you know, these are human beings, you know, they're people just like your neighbours or, you know, people you know. They're not just numbers or faceless individuals, and I think that this film captured that, you know, these are people's stories, you know, they're human beings that came to this country, you know, for whatever reason, you know, that deserve better treatment. And, you know, I personally do a lot of, you know, foreign programs, and, you know, to see these sort of things happening in the UK, you know, you expect better in the UK, you really do. So, you know, thanks to Panorama and thanks to our management for, you know, allowing Joe to make these sort of films, and, you know, and Karen to sort of exec them. I mean,
I mean, I just think finally, you know, the undercover films that we make, and this is not the first, and we're equally proud of all of the films that we make, and we're equally proud of all of the people that we work with. We're really proud of Callum, probably more proud of Callum than just about anybody else, in my opinion. But it is true to say that the BBC and Panorama provides us the time and the resources to be able to follow our instincts as journalists and to make these programmes, and thanks to the BBC and thanks to Panorama.
We're very lucky to have that space.
Yeah, we really are.
If I may, I mean, for us, well, for me personally, and I think it's the same for all of us, you know, success isn't necessarily measured in the awards that we win, but in the lives that we're able to change and in the institutions that we're able to change. But if an award like this is a measurement of our success in being able to do that, in being able to make a real impact, then we're even more delighted than we would be originally.
Well, it is absolutely deserves, and yeah, congratulations, and just I think big up for just standing in your absolute truth. You know, can't say anything more than that. Thank you so much, guys, and
Thank you so much.
congratulations.